So we're about 3 months from the end of miniatures construction. We're working on the approach to Skull Island. The dynamic environments of Skull Island have been predominantly created through the use of miniatures, and therefore it's great to have an opportunity to show you the journey that a miniature goes through here at the workshop.
We read the script and then you guys can illustrate some sort of more of a feeling of the action from the script.
As is always the case, our design work starts with the script, an initial chat with Peter, but then on to our conceptual designers, Gus and Jeremy, begin creating beautiful artwork that further enhance Peter's vision for the film. Once these are finally approved and we've singled out 1 or 2 paintings that best capture that vision, we then create a 3-dimensional maquette.
Peter said to us, make that painting. So that primarily is what we're doing.
I made this maquette for Peter to look at nearly a year ago.
But it just sits in storage up on the shelves waiting till the schedule is relative to when we should start building it. Its time has now arrived, so the old maquette is pulled out and we begin work on it. We literally slice this little miniature up to give us the information to build the larger scale model. We scale up either by hand off this model, but in recent times also utilising the previs department to drive our ShopBot, a robotic routing table, which automatically cuts out the profiles.
Once we've got the outline, which is just really bones, we get a skeleton. And we've got to add all the skin and the detail, like this architectural detail, that we've got to just look at the maquette and take measurements and try and recreate in between each profile.
This is the area we're working on right now. It's the floor panels. We're translating that onto the actual model. And after this, we're going to start building the facade of the buildings, which is this area on the maquette right here. It's not going to be as detailed as this, so it's going to be more like cave dwellings.
The guys have created these massive angular rocks, and the feeling that the seismic eruption that's hitting the island is making everything fall out of parallel, and I think we've really captured that in this latest miniature. We clad rock that we've moulded from real rock around the coastline of Wellington and throughout New Zealand.
We have different names for the different sorts of rock. Probably the easiest one to identify is James Brown here, so named for all the grooves that it has in it. Charlie Parker, better known as Bird, and we call it Bird just because it's so goddamn interesting.
Louis Armstrong is smooth with gravelly undertones.
Charles Mingus, Thelonious Monk. This is one of the early Rolling Stones.
We skewer it on using meat skewers or shish kebab sticks, and then using urethane foam, we actually foam those rock surfaces on, go back in with a knife, cut pieces out, tilt them, change them, squash them, stretch them, to try and make a more dynamic environment. Then we try and get Peter in to have a look at it. It's a good stage for him to make alterations if he wishes, because it's very simple still to move it around. Very thankfully, in the case of the miniatures for Kong, he's actually had very few changes. He's been very satisfied with where we've taken the miniatures, and it's allowed the process to move ahead at incredible pace. But for me personally, I think the most satisfying thing that I now get out of my job is really watching these exceptionally talented artists create all these neat things. You're working with a group of people that have an unabashed enthusiasm, a passion and a drive to just achieve really great results all of the time, and that's a good place to be.